in that particular committee. We want other issues that were not part and parcel of the first round of that push to be included. Now we're talking about police brutality. We're talking about youth representation. We're talking about other issues that the Azimio coalition didn't present to you or to the government as well. Are we turncoats?
Simba, in response to that, it goes back to what Prof said earlier.
Yeah.
We do not need a bipartisan talk. What we need is a national dialogue.
When did it start? When did we realize, Ken, that indeed what we needed was a national dialogue?
We just realized that the propagators of these bipartisan talks do not actually mean to execute what they are agitating for.
Yeah.
Actually, they are using these other factors as scapegoat to achieve their hidden agenda.
But what is the state of the talks right now? Is the Azimio coalition still not sticking to their first demands?
Why would Azimio even accept to sit with Kenya Kwanza when Kenya Kwanza says that the cost of living is a government prerogative and not subject to discussion? So is Kimani Ichung'wah saying that Kenya Kwanza, I mean the government, is the only person affected by the cost of living? These people don't even know the cost of unga. The president just said, I will fit this in a statement. He said some of them do not know what is happening in their ministries. Maybe they do not know the cost of unga is retailing at how much in this local retail shop. So I may be right. I'm just fitting my thoughts in president's statement.
That's a quick analogy. It's like giving you a visa to Israel and telling you cannot land in Jerusalem.
Yes, that is what the president is trying to say. Prof, you are very wise. So, that said and done, I'm just trying to tell you that we don't need this bipartisan anymore. Actually, this is a waste of time. We have no monolithic patience to wait and see the back forth tweet from Cherargei and Kimani Ichung'wah.
What I want to come clearly from you is that when did we realize that we don't need?
We realized when we analyze. You know, we are human beings. We have the 5 senses. We can observe. We can see.
When can be clear.
I'm very clear. We realize on the board, the fourth, and you are even going to let me not speak what I wanted to say.
That's it.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
We gave them time. The Azimio and the Kenya Kwanza, they went for first session of bipartisan talks. It backlashed. We went to the streets. They called it back. You know the tone. You don't need to tell someone that we don't need you around. You just observe, feel, and then you conclude.
Had the first bipartisan talk succeeded, would you have been happy?
It would not have been. It would not have succeeded. And by the way,
just a scenario. Would you have been happy, Ken?
Based on the issues that were presented. First of all, the cost of living.
Yes.
But let me tell you, I am a father of one, and I'm a father figure to many people. The orphans, even in my family alone. So when we talk about cost of living, I'm not speaking from a point of misinformation. I speak of what I know. That said and done, when we speak of government subsidy, I want to put a clear case. Yes, the president is zero-rating fertilizer, which was donated by Russia. That is the only... I'm not asking you for a question, my friend. I'm just speaking. Just keep quiet. It is me speaking. The government, I just saw the tweet from Russian embassy the other day. I'm not being accountable to you. So you choose what you want to consume. I'm not here. We are in a conversation, but do not disrupt.
Sankara, continue.
So let me say this.
You've been interrupting me 1,000 times.
I'm not responsible for your inadequate access to information. That should be very clear to you.
The issue on the table.
Let me address this. I was saying some of these fertilizers were donated by Russia. When they come here, the government tells us they have been subsidized. That should be very clear. You know the Ukraine war, that this government said the cost of living is courtesy of handshake. They just realized the war in Ukraine also had a direct impact on the cost of living. There is the international geopolitical factor that affected the Russia's exportation of fertilizer and etc. They resorted to dump them in Africa as a donation. So I don't want to know whether they donated it and subsidized it, etc. So this is the case. Someone is dying of hunger in West Pokot. A government authority lands in West Pokot in a government chopper full of subsidized fertilizer. You are saying you are not going to subsidize consumption, but you must subsidize production. Now I'm asking, we must have figures. How many people do farming in Kenya? In as much as food security is the backbone to a sustainable economy. How many people do farming? Someone is dying in West Pokot because of hunger. You are distributing to them subsidized fertilizer. Prioritization. Because this fertilizer, they're not for the specific group of people in this country. They are meant for Kenyans. Is that so? Is that so? Mm-hmm. Everyone is entitled to them. So we are dying of food, and you are subsidizing our fertilizer. You are telling us you are zero-rating production. Prof just put it clear. When you go to the farm, when you do a meaningful farming, even this Kenya Kwanza there, and they post pictures of them in farm with tractors. They don't plow with the cows, they plow with tractors. There is the element of fuel consumption in it. Why would you raise the price of fuel, VAT, then subsidize fertilizer and expect production? You may lie to some people some of the time some with people, but not all the people all the time. Number two, when I die today, out of unclear circumstances, what do you do as a government? You do post-mortem. We went to an election. There has been the back and forth pull that we are not satisfied by what was put there. We want to actually know what happened. Let us dissect this body called server, see what is inside, and then we get our satisfaction. You are telling us that Sankara is dead, but we cannot do a post-mortem. You have to accept the fact that Sankara is dead. The president is saying, I won, I am the president, there is no audit of electoral results. That is what they are trying to tell us. Some of us may disagree, and here I am disagreeing. So, you see, you look at these things all together, they don't tally if you have to have a sober conversation. So, I'll just conclude by saying, yes, the bipartisan talk has missed its objectives. Let us call for a national dialogue at Bomas of Kenya, where someone like myself will come and give their opinions. Number two, we are going to do zero-rated production. As we produce, remember we are not going to bury people until crops mature. Maize take up to 6 months. We are not going to die because we are producing. Let us try to remember that people need to eat as they produce. Remember, countries, since I was born, the first time I'm seeing Mount Kenya, how do we call them? Clinically, medically fit food for vulnerable people. That is the relief food being distributed in central Kenya, where production should be at its peak. I don't know whether when the president goes to Mount Kenya and these leaders, they distribute food, don't these people from Mount Kenya remember, see that the Bible is not in the president's hand? He just said, nikiweka Biblia chini, unga itakuwa sabini. That's it. Maybe the Bible is still sticking in his hands and we can't see. That is subjected to microscopic views. I want to cross over to Nabiso. Yes.
First and foremost, the issue of fertilizer should be short-term and long-term. The long-term thing of fertilizer is fine, but the short-term is that if I find you sick in your deathbed and you are suffering from hunger, and I tell you here is fertilizer, and someone comes and say here is maize for food, which are not responding to, the president has to know that different Kenyans are at different circumstances. Some of them actually are dying of hunger right now, and they need food right now, so that does not happen. The second thing is that you must subsidize production, but also you must subsidize consumption. Because if people can't afford what you're producing, whom are you selling it to? Because the maize we are going to get will be more expensive than Kenyans can afford it. That's why even if you add a lot of taxes on alcohol, people start drinking illicit brews and stop drinking the right thing. And then lastly, why are we realizing now that we have to have a national dialogue? According to me, my point is this. If Ruto has accepted they need to talk to Raila, has he accepted there was something wrong about the election? Because if there was nothing wrong about the election, why are we talking? And the fact that he realizes there is a need to talk, he has somehow accepted that there was something wrong about the election, that's why they are talking. Because why should they talk if you want the election free and fair, and there is evidence beyond reason of doubt? Because he was told, open the server. If we are seated here 4 people, and Simba, you suspect that I've taken your wallet, and you're telling me, Fred, if you are sure you have not taken my wallet, please open your coat. I will open my coat, isn't it? You check. So if someone says, open the server, open it. If there's a problem, then that's why you're keeping it. Why are they saying we should not open the server? We can't discuss a cost of living. So we are discovering now as a nation, someone is cheating us. Either Azimio or Kenya Kwanza. That's why we want to go to Bomas to establish who cheated us. Did IBC cheat us? Did Azimio cheat and they lost the election? Did